A federal judge knocks down a ruling that would have banned gun shows at the county fair. Why he says the ban would be an infringement on the rights of gun owners.
This is Good Evening San Diego.
A federal judge has blocked a California law that would prohibit gun shows at county fairs. U.S. District Judge Mark Holcomb said the ban would infringe on the rights of buyers and sellers. Joining us now to talk more about this decision is criminal defense attorney Vikas Bajaj. Great to see you, Vic. Thanks for coming by on Halloween, no doubt.
Yes, happy Halloween to you, Logan.
And to you. So what did the judge decide here? What was the problem he saw in the fact that gun shows couldn't be allowed on these county fairs and some state property?
There's a bigger problem and a smaller problem contained within the bigger problem. The smaller problem is if you can buy a gun at a gun store, why can't you buy it at a gun show? So it's sort of an equal protection, taking away the right to purchase and the right to sell. It doesn't make sense logically. But within that, or above that, the umbrella covering that is the Second Amendment. And there have been a number of federal and Supreme Court decisions that have said unequivocally you have a right to bear arms. And our judge, one of those here in the Southern District of California, Judge Benitez, recently authored another Second Amendment decision wherein he said very clearly there is no tradition within our constitutional background or the cases that have interpreted it which allow for these types of restrictions, primarily the California-based ban against assault weapons and also high-capacity magazines.
I know one of the reasons for one of the laws was to try to prevent ghost guns from being sold. These are kind of those, it's a part of a gun, you can make it yourself, and then you buy the other parts, you put it together, and you essentially have a gun without a serial number, and that's why they call it a ghost gun. The judge said something about regulation is more extensive than is necessary to serve that interest. He also made the point that you could maybe get a ghost gun or you could make a ghost gun without going to a gun show, which sounds like what you're saying too.
Well, that's exactly right. And it used to be that gun shows were sort of a loophole, Logan, where you could go in and you could purchase a firearm and you could do away with certain things, such as the 10-day waiting period. Well, those loopholes in California have been closed now, so they don't really hold any weight of supporting the argument that they should be regulated by the state of California. Ghost guns are essentially putting together pieces of guns to make a firearm, which is then unregistered and not able to be tracked by the ATF, FBI, or anyone else. Transactions can occur because they don't need an FFL, federally licensed firearm dealer, to actually transfer the weapon. But you can't buy ghost guns at these gun shows. They're strictly prohibited. So really, it's an older argument that doesn't hold water.
So where do you see this going? Does it go to the Supreme Court? How do you see this playing out?
Well, these cases are clearly interpreting the Supreme Court decisions and the federal court decisions based in New York and now in our Southern District here in San Diego by Judge Benitez. It's unconstitutional to control the proliferation of a law-abiding citizen's ability to actually purchase a gun. So what we see is, in our case, Attorney General Bonta and his office spending millions of dollars and hundreds and thousands of hours to prove something to be constitutional when in fact a majority of courts around the nation and the population and voting citizens around the nation understand it's unconstitutional to control the Second Amendment in this way. So you can imagine that Attorney General Bonta, who's made it very clear that he will appeal. Unfortunately for us taxpayers, Logan, it's just a waste of money because the Supreme Courts have said it's unconstitutional to control it in this way.
It sounds like this doesn't have any bearing on a gun show at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. They banned that. Is that still in effect? In other words, no gun shows at the Del Mar Fairgrounds?
This court actually said that it doesn't affect this regulation in the county of San Diego. But if I were a betting man, I'm not, but if I were, I would say that that's the next thing on the pecking order to address. Why is it that private citizens, law-abiding citizens, should give up the dollars from the commerce that others are able to avail themselves of if they have a storefront? You'd venture to guess that's going to be next on the chopping block, at least as far as San Diego County is concerned.
All right. Vikas Bajaj, good to see you, Vic.
Thank you so much.
Happy Halloween. Say happy Halloween to the kids and the wife for us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, have a great evening. All right, Teresa.